Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Coffee Combos this Saturday. My name is Sam Martin, and I am the founding artistic director of Cincinnati Song Initiative. And today's Coffee Combo session is another Meet the Artists session where we will get to know 3 out of the 4 incredible artists who are bringing tomorrow's concert to life, our final installment of our series this season, A World of Song. Tomorrow's concert is called Celebrating Latinx Voices, and it features incredible art songs from Latin America, specifically Argentina, Mexico, and Puerto Rico. And so without any further ado, I'd like to welcome one by one into our stream, beginning with the wonderful Dorothy Gal, the soprano. Hello, Dorothy.
Hello, Sam.
Welcome. And in the concert, she's partnered by the incredible pianist who you've recognized from earlier in our season, Dr. Blair Salter. Hey, Blair.
Hello.
And finally, our tenor all the way from Puerto Rico is Heyu Otero. Welcome,
Hello,
Heyu.
hello.
Hey, you guys. Thank you for being here. And of course, the 4th artist who couldn't be here today is Andre Gonzalez Caballero, the incredible international guitarist who performed with Heyu. And so we'll hear from her in a little pre-recorded video a little bit later. But for now, welcome to all 3 of you. So, okay, Dorothy, tell us where you're coming to us from, well, right now, but also where you and Blair recorded before. You're all over the place.
I know, I'm just a mess. No. I'm shooting right now from New Orleans, but Blair and I recorded together in Houston, Texas, and we met there through the H2O studio, and we've been friends and collaborators ever since.
Yay! And we have a wonderful little photo memorializing the recording session.
Wow,
I'm so happy about this photo.
Blair and Dorothy were joined by what was her Sheba
Sheba
the pupper.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
In the beautiful home of our dear friend and supporter Mary Kay Bueller and her wonderful husband Mark. We can't thank them enough for providing this space to record, especially during these pandemic times when it's really hard to get into venues, and we got to use their beautiful piano. And I think it's just a really cool vibe for this concert to be in that nice living room. And Heyu, where did you record?
So right now I'm shooting from Puerto Rico, by the way, but I recorded from Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm.
So I did it everything like by myself.
Yeah.
Okay, we just this friend of mine that helped me to record the camera, and of course Andrea recorded by herself in Miami.
Right.
So it was an interesting experience. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it was like trying to record like a cappella,
Mm-hmm.
Because even though I was listening to Andrea, I was literally like singing like by myself. Okay. So it was great. It was a great experience.
Right. So, okay. So to be very specific, so Andrea recorded the guitar, the accompaniments for you in Miami.
Yeah.
And then she sent them over to you.
Yeah.
And you played those in your ear and you sang on top of that.
Yeah.
So just so everybody gets an idea of what some of it's been like this past year as we've been recording all these digital concerts and we've had collaborators who are in different physical spaces. It's just been kind of crazy and a big experiment. And we're so grateful to the artists who have done these kinds of things. And then so Heyu had a fabulous videographer in Puerto Rico and they got it done. And they send it over to us, and we put everything together, and it turns into the final concert video that you all will see tomorrow. So amazing.
The full karaoke experience.
Yes, it's a fabulous karaoke experience.
A really
Honestly,
good one.
I didn't want it to say that, but you say it. So
Listen, we all,
it was literally a karaoke experience.
yes, we're all just doing the best we can this year, and we try
Yeah.
to get everybody in the room together if possible to record, to sort of recreate the
Yes.
experience as best as possible. But in some certain cases, it's just not possible, and that's okay too. So amazing. So this concert, the CSI series this season, A World of Song, has been a series exploring underrepresented and sort of neglected art songs from different geographical regions around the globe. So, we all know Italian song, French song, German song, more increasingly American song, right? For CSI's 5th anniversary season, we really wanted to sort of shine a spotlight on neglected art song from areas around the world that a lot of people don't hear as much. So, for example, the very first concert of this season, which Blair played on so fabulously, was a concert featuring Black American composers and a lot of song that a lot of people don't know yet. The second concert was underperformed German, Polish, and Yiddish art song from Eastern Europe. In February, Myra Huang and Fleur Barron did a massive exploration of Asian and Asian American song in a concert that was themed towards the idea of belonging and the complicated, complex emotions at play of holding Asian identity and what that means. And of course, this fourth and final installment is all Latin American song, and it also ties up CSI's separate project that's been going on for 3 seasons, Alma de España, which has been all Spanish language repertoire. So this concert is quite momentous, and I'm wondering if Dorothy and Blair, you can tell us a little bit about the music you'll be performing, where it's from, the sort of connection you have to it, if any, and or why it's important that it gets out there and has a spotlight shined on it.
Dorothy, please.
Sure. So we started off with the cycle, the Cinco Canciones Populares by Ginastera. And Ginastera is an Argentinian composer. And all of his music, I mean, all 5, I guess, portions of the cycle, they are all based upon traditional folkloric, melodies. And so I don't think I've ever encountered a cycle that every single movement I am just 100% feeling connected to and finding something that I truly love about every single movement, whether it's like the steel brass drum feeling of the opening number, whether it's like the hushed lullabies of the Arroro. I just think it's absolutely beautiful and daring and fun and flirty, and I know that's not exactly the most scientific or musical terms to describe it, but it makes me feel very passionate when I'm performing these works, and that's something that I found a lot throughout all of my exploration of the Latin American music. And then, of course, like Maria Grever is Jurame, like how can you have something more like passionate and fiery and emotional? The first time I actually heard it was, funny enough, Chicago Lyric Opera Stream, and my friend and Ricardo, who I met at Rice, sang it, and I was, oh my gosh, I think I fell to the ground. My knees are broken for weeks. I just was like, I was stunned, and I thought, oh, like this must be just a great song for baritone. But I was like, no, I really want to sing this. So I came to you, Sam, and I was like, I don't know what else I want to sing, but I know I have to sing this. And you're like, okay, Dorothy, like here, look at this like beautiful floaty high soprano thing. I'm like, no, I'm like, I have to sing it. No, to be fair, you're amazing, Sam. You really let us do whatever we wanted and take the reins, which is, invaluable, I think, for having that artistic spirit come through. And luckily, like Blair, you just make, performing such a delight. And like, I felt like we really found like that style and that pull and tug that exists in this repertoire. I think rubato is something. Oh wow, I'm talking so much. Wow.
No.
I'm so sorry. Do you have anything to say, Blair?
You're right. I love all the things that you're saying. No, you're right. It's like the flexibility, the music is like, it feels so much more flexible and like you can really play with it so much more than some of the other, like maybe more traditional things that we're used to. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but the feeling is there. It just feels like, oh, it feels so good to play and like perform and kind of like push each other to see what it feels like. But it's the folk song aspect too, right? It's like there's always something about folk songs that like makes it so easy to connect to because there's something so like accessible about it. I don't know if that's what I mean, but you know, there's like feels more real. It feels like there's something you can really like connect to.
Right.
No, I totally agree with everything you're saying.
Yeah. This idea that there's universal and sort of basic human emotions and it's expressed in a very accessible, sort of like able to be understood and interpreted by sort of anybody feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, Dorothy, we were happy. I mean, Jurame, of course. I'm pretty sure it's one of the Mexican national anthems, basically. Like everybody knows that song. I've performed it myself in Mexico, luckily, and everybody knows it. So without a question, it needed to be on this program.
Why not know it?
We're so glad that you did do that. Great. Hey, you tell us about the songs you'll be.
Oh my god. So okay, my repertoire is kind of dense, I can say, but it's because voice and guitar repertoire is so little. Like I've been doing my research, and let's say Latin American guitar and voice repertoire. So I first started with Egurbida's compositions because first I started singing them when I was starting my bachelor's degree, and I learned a lot from them. And also, I don't know if you guys know, I am a guitarist, so he was my teacher, and he's still alive. So part of me choosing the repertoire is because I literally I love him as a person, as a teacher. So I respect him a lot. So that's why I chose that repertoire first. And then en este cordero, what we can say about Nesto, there's a lot of people who know Ernesto. Okay, Ernesto
Really?
Cordero, he's really famous in the guitar world. Um, he studied with one of the best guitarists in the world, Regino Sainz de la Maza and Alirio Diaz, and he's been composing a lot of music for orchestra, for guitar solo, for guitar and voice. Is for guitar solo too. He's amazing, and honestly, in Puerto Rico, where every single singer sing and it's a their repertoire. Like it's literally a culture. Like, and I've never honestly, it's my first time singing Ernesto Cordero's repertoire like in a video. Like I've done it in recitals and stuff, but like in a video, like it was my first time. And as I said, it's really difficult to find Puerto Rican music with voice and guitar. So it was like interesting. He has many, but I know it was kind of limited the time I had. Okay, so but I enjoy to play those songs because they are really fun and they are really like passionate. So and they're beautiful. And I don't know. Of course, they are Puerto Ricans. It's basically their compositions are like the classical version of Puerto Rican music, literally from this like century. Okay, so it's honestly it's a strange feeling because is music that is composed recently. They don't have like more than like 100 years. Like for me, it's like composed recently, and last but not least, of course, Guastavino, but we can say he's the Schubert of the Pampas. So honestly, I remember you play those songs with Angel, and I just fell in love. I said like I have to sing those songs, okay? But the interesting detail here is that those arrangements, they don't exist. I made them, like
Right.
the guitar arrangement, because I said like this has to happen. Okay, I want to sing Pam Pam Pam, and I want to sing Ya me voy a retirar. Those songs are so beautiful and so dense, so it has so much energy.
Mhm.
Like the lyric is so deep, and that's why I honestly thanks Sam for letting me choosing all the repertoire by myself, and thank you for accepting it, because honestly, me as a singer, I enjoy to make like programs.
Mhm.
I you know, Sam, I know you. I made you sweat a little bit for my last for my last exam at
Good
Rice.
for him.
I said, what about if we play list for
Those
my
lists,
for my
and
but I'm so sorry, but I like good music, I like
Mhm.
good repertoire, and honestly I'm really grateful like you let me like um choose everything. Okay, so thank you.
Yeah, of course, you know, it's easy to trust all you all. You're all absolutely brilliant, and I know that you bring the same level of interest and passion in programming and uncovering amazing songs as I do, which is why CSI was started in the first place, to basically shine a light on creative programming and not sort of have you know, all the, you know, just the usual spotlight greatest hits. So I mean, that goes without saying, and this has turned out to be such an amazing program that I know everybody's gonna love. Um, so uh, one of the reasons why I just want to give a little bit of context for the whole Alma de España series that we've run over the past 3 seasons, which has featured several programs of um, songs just from Spain, and also a couple different programs like this one from other Spanish speaking regions in the throughout the world, like Latin America for this one. Um, and if any of you have any insight, I'd be curious to hear about this. But from my research, I mean, one of the reasons why Spanish art song seems to be sort of one of the secondary or secondarily studied languages is there's been issues with historically, especially out of Spain. From my research, they've been very protective of their scores in the sense of not letting them get published and leaving the borders and you know, disseminating throughout the world. Like we all have easy access to Schubert and Fauré and stuff like that. So for some reason, they've been a little bit protective of their scores, so that just hasn't allowed for as much dissemination. I think it's starting to change because everybody who hears a Spanish song, like you all have said, they're also passionate.
Yeah,
They're so electric. They're so visceral, and they all tend to be able to touch human emotions at a very basic and accessible level. And so once people hear them, they love it. And so it's just been a matter of a lack of sort of accessibility to, I think, the scores, which leads to less performances. And in schools, it's studied less. I don't know. It absolutely needs to be elevated in how often it's performed, especially in this country, where Spanish is an increasingly spoken language. So we really wanted to um, shine a big old spotlight on this repertoire in this language. And I don't know if any of you have any additional thoughts on that, but this is, you know, a great concert to sort of tie all that together, like you said, because it's so passionate and so visceral. Especially Heyu, with the composers that you're singing, other than the Guastavino, living composers. I mean, it's just, this is all happening in front
yeah,
of our eyes. This repertoire is being written, and you know them.
yeah. And honestly, I can say that repertoire is available.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanna look for Ernesto Corderos and Egurvida's repertoire, you can look on Conservatorio de Puerto Rico website, and they have a virtual library, and
Okay.
you can probably access that online, or maybe they can send it to you. And I know what you're saying. Like I know the repertoire is kind of restricted in some point, because for me was honestly, it's really difficult when I wanna look for a Spanish. Even me, that I know, of course, the language. For me, it's really difficult to find repertoire in Spanish. Okay, so I kind of understand, but I think that there has to be something about the I don't know, maybe it's the connection that the composers have with the world, you know.
Yeah.
Like, for sometimes there's a lot of repertoire that is literally dying in a library, but they need people like us to find them and then to show it.
Right.
So I don't know if I'm saying something that is relevant, but that's what I'm thinking about right now.
For sure. So anybody watching who's interested in this repertoire, it's worth putting in the work to find and access the scores, and then do it and share it with as many people as possible, because it's incredible repertoire.
Yes.
It just reinforces that idea. And along with this whole series that we've run this season, A World of Song, it's so interesting to think, based on situations like this, like simply because something's hard to get one's hands on, like this could have totally shifted the balance of the repertoire that we know as standard, right? Through small little reasons, like we're discussing, you know. Are there composers out there, and are there languages out there that have an enormous wealth of song repertory just waiting to be discovered? And could that sort of tilt the balance of what we know to be the most widely performed art song? It's a very interesting and sort of inception-y and alternate reality concept, right? So anyway, all that
like that
ahead,
shift a little bit though, right? I'm just thinking, obviously it's not relevant to this, but like a old teacher of mine, like he has Irish connections, and like his wife is Irish, and they recently like moved back to Ireland, and they've created this whole like database of Irish song, and it's like, who knew about all of these songs? And that was the whole point, right? Is that they like went there, they talked to people, they talked to the composers, they found all this stuff that people hadn't been singing before, and now it's available online, and it's like the sheet music is available, there's performances of it, and it's like, are we going to see more of that now? Probably.
Yeah. And it's also helpful to dig deeper and to find other songs by other composers that we already know, but not the greatest hits of those composers, right? So for all those reasons, it's just that's what we've totally been trying to uncover with this whole global series this year. Our friend Mark has a good comment, and I think he's spot on. This has also been part of it. He says, do you think they're being protective of their music, or is there a lack of publishing infrastructure like in Germany, France have and had? I think
I was just thinking about that, the publishing.
I think both are true. We all know that there are many French scores that are littered with errors, and there's sort of sometimes it's not super clean, and it can be hard to get our hands on a lot of French scores as well. From my research that I've come across, it's been a little bit of both. It's been publishing, but also that which has been published, at least historically, in past centuries, for some reason, at least in Spain. I don't know about throughout Latin America. There had been a little bit of a protective mindset, or at least a lack of interest in getting the repertoire outside of the country. I don't really know why, but it's worth sharing with other people. So I totally think that you're right about that as well, Mark. Great point. Guys, let's meet our fourth artist, Andrea, in this short video, and we'll go from there. Here's Andrea.
Hola a todos, my name is Andrea González Caballero, and I would like to invite you to watch the Cincinnati Song Initiative's upcoming concert, celebrating the Latinx voices. This concert is happening on April 11th, and we will be sharing a program full of songs from Latin America. You can stream the concert between April 11th and May 2nd with the CSI Digital Single Pass. or you can watch it many times if you want with the all access pass. Whatever you choose, I will be very happy to see you on April 11th.
Yay, Andrea. Fabulous guitarist. We are so lucky that she was able to be part of this concert. So it's going to be great. Okay. We're going to all listen to Andrea. I'm going to show everybody how to access this concert beginning tomorrow afternoon. So when you go to the Cincinnati Song Initiative website, you will be able to scroll down and see the Celebrating Latinx Voices concert page. If you have the CSI Digital All Access Pass, you can log into your existing account, or you can click this button and it will take you to a page where you can sign up. Things that come with an All Access Pass of CSI Digital include access to all of our content that we've put out this season, as well as all of our past concerts that have been recorded on video in our concert archives. So there's a treasure trove of content, both musical as well as we have educational webinars. We have interviews with living American composers. So there's so much content, and it's all this sort of Netflix style membership for a low monthly price, and you have unlimited access to all of this. If you are just here to watch this concert, it streams for 3 weeks, and you can choose to watch it with a single pass. So you can just click the single pass button. And tomorrow, after this coffee combo session is over, this will update, and you will be able, beginning tomorrow, to purchase a single pass, which is good for 24 hours after you purchase it. And you will be able to watch the concert that way. So I encourage you to share it with all your friends and family and do that. So once again, just going to CincinnatiSongInitiative.org, scrolling down and clicking Celebrating Latinx Voices, and either logging in or signing up for an all access pass, or signing up for a single pass, which will take you to the concert video, which you can enjoy with all your friends and family from the comfort of your home. So good. Let's see, guys, what else? Let's talk about how the rest of your seasons have been this year. I mean, it's been just, we're hopefully rounding the hump out of just this crazy, crazy pandemic year where things have sort of been turned on its head. We're starting to see some live performances happening outside or inside, you know, with massive distancing employed and stuff as more people get vaccinated. Blair, what have you been up to this season? And how have these quarantines been treating you?
Nice. I appreciate that. It's been very up and down. I'm just thinking like the whole pandemic just is like, I don't go by years anymore. Now I'm just like at the start of the pandemic, and like still currently in it. So now this is just like my new timeline. It's fine. But it was like so up and down, right? There was a brief time where everything was just like, we were all just like at home depressed and wondering what the heck was going to happen with the rest of our lives. Yeah. But like it recovered so fast with things like this, obviously, because people like you, Sam, are like, well, we're not going to sit at home doing nothing. We are going to sit at home actually, but we're not going to do nothing. But anyway, I don't know, things like picked way back up at the beginning of the season. Then they like dropped off again around Christmas. But then since this year, 2021, you know, this part of the pandemic, things have like kind of skyrocketed again, actually. Yeah. It's like all the sort of events that are happening have changed so drastically. They're sort of like, this is what we're talking about when we talk about the new normal, right? Where it's like, I have all these recordings that are going on because everybody's got all these ideas that they want to share and they are finding ways to do it somehow. We were just talking about before we went live is that I just did a recording with the tubist last week. And it was like, I don't even know how we actually connected, but she's awesome. And she's like in school at Philly, but she's in Houston at the moment. We were doing this recording for Performance Today, which is in Minnesota. It was like, but all these things are happening, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that maybe I wouldn't have been able to do before. So it's like the pros and cons. It's really interesting. But I am doing live, like I'm working with New Orleans Opera in like 2 weeks or something, which feels so strange. But like we'll be there with people in rehearsal. Crazy.
Yeah. I want to hear from everybody else, but just to put a point on that, Blair, this is why we all need to get vaccinated, of course. And we're all going to be little puppy dogs, like dipping our toe back into it and being afraid to go back to it. But we deserve this after this year, right? Like we deserve to be getting back to live and in-person work with each other, and with the appropriate safety precautions, of course. But it's just so exciting and emotional to think about. And I'm just so glad that you get to go do that in-person stuff in 2 weeks. So yay.
It's going to be that. It's exactly what you're saying, right? There's something that's so special about it that maybe we might have taken for granted before, because it was like one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. And like, yes, obviously there are plenty of negatives to come out of it, but trying to look on the positive side. Now, when we get to have these experiences, like getting to see Dorothy in person and rehearsing again, I was like,
right.
That used to be just like another day,
Yeah. So it's a whole new world of appreciating this. Yeah. Dorothy, how about you?
Yeah, so I feel like my experience throughout the pandemic has been just so varied. Like you said, I mean, the beginning of it, you just kind of accept all these cancellations and you're trying to figure out, okay, so how am I going to spend my time in a productive and meaningful way? Something that means something to me at least. But then all of a sudden, like one of my first gigs in person was a New Year's Eve concert in Florida. And all of a sudden, I hadn't been rehearsing really with anybody. Blair, on occasion, like 20 feet apart with masks on in my living room. But really, I hadn't really seen that many people. And then all of a sudden, I was singing like a Pops concert with orchestra. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. Like, this is normal. And I was like, do I still remember how to do this? Like, what do I do with this hand? It keeps moving. So, but no, I mean, I joke, but that was like a really special moment for me, because I felt like, oh my gosh, like it reminded me how much I love to sing, but how much I love to share, because I'd been singing throughout the pandemic for myself. And that was great. Like, work on your technique, work on your music. But like the act of sharing it is what really excites me. And it just really gave me momentum to push through that hurdle. I feel like, over Christmas time, it was easy to kind of feel like, oh, this has been happening forever. Like, what am I going to do? And then I ended up going to Spain in January for the Tenor Viñas competition. And, for me, I was scared because I didn't see a lot of singers or people generally traveling. I wore 3 masks on the plane.
Yeah.
And then it was the first time that I had sung opera with someone, like a performance, a couple rounds of the competition for like a panel. And I was interested, like, what is going to come out of my mouth? I haven't even sung 3 of my 5 arias for anybody, but I was like, you might as well just throw yourself out there and go for it. And so again, like I've just had, very interesting and high pressure situations during the pandemic, which, are only more nerve-wracking due to like the lack of being able to collaborate with people, on a daily basis, or have your lessons like you need to. But, now I'm actually on the other side. So I've had both of my vaccine doses, and I'm feeling like I'm excited to get back to normal. And, normal with a mask on for me is great. I think we should obviously continue protecting everybody and being smart about our choices. But I also feel like now I feel a sigh of relief, because the people that I truly care about, like family and friends, and I see everyone that's high risk individuals, they're starting to feel more at ease and feel more just not scared for their lives, which I don't think people should feel, and that's not a healthy state to be in for a long period of time, any period of time. But yeah, and being able to do a concert like this, has been a highlight of my season. It gave me 3 months of something to look forward to. And especially being able to do it with Blair, I mean, I just feel like we're just this all-star rock star duo now, because I literally spent my whole pandemic only collaborating with Blair, and that has been
That's
such
true.
a
Sorry about
blessing.
it.
You've kept me sane through it all, and encouraged and supported, and I think that is just amazing, and because of opportunities like this. And so thank you for giving us this chance in a time where you easily could have just hung up the towel and said, see you next season, subscribers, but you didn't. You took a risk, and I think people appreciate all the efforts. It's easy to just be complacent or be okay with doing nothing, but I think you really created something that allows for people to continue being creative and continue being inspired.
Thank you. That's the soul. All we wanted to do was continue to, as long as we had artists who were interested in being on board with that, we were so happy to continue presenting artists who wanted to continue to operate even through this past year, because we knew that it would be so vital to help other people get through this time. So really, there wasn't much of a decision to be made there. We're just so grateful and thankful to all of you who have continued to work and really adjust to whatever needed to happen to make this stuff work this past season. So we can't thank you enough. So yeah. But it's amazing to hear, Dorothy, that you made it all the way to Spain, and that you had all these experiences as we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. That's great. Yay. All right. Hey, how about you, Maestro?
So what I can say, it was a roller coaster, of course. It was crazy, but gladly I was working, honestly.
Good.
I had a big Stabat Mater to record, but just imagine, I first I ended up my master's online. So, but thank God I did my recital before, you were there. So I feel glad that I could sing it, through it. And then I had this project for this Stabat Mater, and I honestly was busy. And then I had your CSI project too. So honestly, I don't want to. Of course, we were sad and worried, but I was really concentrated on my projects, and I kept my mind busy, and I had a reconciliation with my guitar again. I started painting, drawing. I had a lot of time. Honestly, I always look for the positive way. So I was really happy, honestly, to have this project first, and then Sam's project. Then it was like, okay, I'm working, honestly. So every single person who asks me about pandemic, I say I was working, truly, because we need, like, my voice. I of course I started, like, I stopped singing for months, so then I had to get ready again to do my Stabat, and then do the Sams, and then I traveled to Spain too, like the other day, to Palau de las Artes, to the semifinal. And I'm mirroring right now Dorothy, because I said, like, I don't know what's going to happen with my voice right now. So it was an incredible experience to go to an audition. For me, it was like crazy. And also I've been recording auditions during the entire pandemic. Honestly, I was kind of busy, and I think that kind of helped me too, because I think the art, like, it's been suffering a lot, like the art community. And I think we should be proud of us, because as you said, Dorothy, we haven't, like, hung up the towel. So we've been, honestly, I feel really proud. I have been working on this, trying to keep my mind simple and healthy. I'm vaccinated right now, and I'm like looking forward to do the same as like a year ago, start singing and start doing projects and everything. So
Yeah.
once again, honestly, I'm really thankful for that, for the opportunity.
Well, it's we're also excited to get back to normal. At the same time, it has been very, very interesting to see how especially the classical music industry needed to have been and has been updated with all everything that's been forced to happen over the past year in order for us to continue operating. Stepping into the digital sphere, investigating and learning how to use resources for that. So frankly, I'm curious to hear if you guys have any thoughts as well, but I'm excited to see how all this will mesh together, even as we go back to being able to do our normal in-person stuff. For me, it's been so exciting to see how much large of an audience one can draw in from all corners of the globe. And for anybody to be able to access content like this, as long as they have an internet connection. And for CSI, our mission is to connect diverse audiences through song that would not otherwise be connected. And so everything we've been able to do this past year has directly contributed to that mission, just not in a traditional way or in a way that we ever saw coming or thought would have to happen. But it's actually been really exciting. So I don't know. Do you guys think that there will be? What do you guys think the future will look like? I'll leave the conversation at this because we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You can make a strong argument that there is no situation in which classical music should be going back to 100% the way things used to be before the pandemic. There's much that needs to be updated and changed and future-proofed. So what's your take on all that? What should we bring with us into the future from this past year of learning? And is there anything that we can leave by the side? But what does the future look like? Blair?
I mean, I'm just thinking so much about how positive this has been in terms of accessibility. It's sort of what you're saying about the fact that you're able to reach this audience that maybe wouldn't have otherwise been drawn into like an in-person concert. There's a lot of value to be found in that. I'm just thinking of like, we must have all had the same conversation with someone who was like, oh, I felt too intimidated to go to that. Especially in opera, I've had that conversation with so many people, like at outreach type events. It's the same where you would see people that maybe you wouldn't see at one of the big performances because they're like, this isn't for me. I don't relate to any of this at all. But like now, if they have any interest in it at all, they can like put their sweatpants on and go sit in front of their TV and see if they like it. There's that sort of barrier that we're constantly trying to work against is removed. And that's not to say that we don't want to go back to in person, because obviously we all so badly want to be like connecting in person with our fellow musicians. But there's something to be said about that. And hopefully we can somehow figure out a way to translate that back a little bit.
Absolutely. Hard agree. Hey, you?
Like, I think we have to learn a lot about this situation. Like, just look how many recordings we've done, like the art community. We've done operas, recorded operas. We've done recitals. Like, so we've done a lot of stuff that we normally don't do, So I think we have to learn about this.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's it's not it's a side of the art that is not developed yet, So we need to take advantage of this. So just imagine just saying thoughts. Just imagine having a season in opera house, but you also have like an online season, So maybe you can have two seasons at the same time, like the in-person one and the online one, and you can have a. Sorry, I'm giving you an idea. Opera houses.
I'm
waiting for my.
I think you're.
I'm waiting for
I'm
my
not going to
stipend.
steal this idea. I think you need to take it and run.
Okay, you can steal it. We can work it together.
Okay.
So, but just imagine that we have to take advantage of this, because every time the human is like like on stress, like in stressed situation, we just reinvent stuff.
Right.
And I think we've been doing great. Like I've seen a lot of stuff. I say like, wow, this is literally, this is theater. This is this is this is a movie.
Yeah.
This is not opera anymore. Like, this is not the normal thing. And I think we have to think about this. Like, we can take advantage of this. Like,
Great point.
in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Good thoughts. Love that. Dorothy, any parting thoughts?
Definitely. So I just had a couple ideas just based on what Blair and who said, but I think that especially if we think about marketing now for opera, I think that hopefully a lot of companies now have the infrastructure to make even more, proactive and engaging marketing plans, because I think now a lot of them have the technology, a lot of them have the ideas, they have the support behind kind of like upping that visibility, throughout all the platforms. So maybe we have a better chance at, I don't want to say drawing people in, but perhaps there is something to be gained, from whatever sort of audience opera has been able to pool throughout this pandemic. Even if it's not quite what we wish it had been, I think it still has been valuable and it has been useful. And then secondly, if you think about all of the great artists who have really, I think, opened up their hearts and opened up the space in their schedules, since, we all had a lot more flexibility, now think about like all of the community colleges or the universities around that have been able to have amazing conversations, roundtable conversations like this with artists from all over the world. And I think before that, perhaps they might have been a bit more reticent or hesitant to being like, oh, I'm not going to have time to fit that into my busy schedule. But I think now people are really making more time to communicate and talk about, I think, a lot of the changes that are occurring in society right now, and in the opera world, are being discussed because we have that time and because we've been.
Uh-oh.
Darn it.
Quick, someone finish Dorothy's thought. No.
There were such good thoughts.
Maybe Dorothy is frozen in action, but I think her point is well taken. And let's see if we're going to get her back here in the last few minutes. Otherwise, we will just. Here she is.
Oh.
Oh, we have two Dorothys right now.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
Hi, Dorothy.
I don't know what happened. Anyways, I was probably talking enough, so that's the.
No. Finish your thought.
Technology is rebelling. As I'm speaking about technology, it's telling me it's time to go.
Did you want to finish your thought about the opera companies and?
Yeah. So my main point is that I think now people are, really open to communicating, and we're all, it's not a foreign concept to us. Like, I think we'll be able to do a lot of things that can connect us, cross country or cross planet.
Yeah.
We can really communicate in that way. So I think there are some good things that, of course, have come, and I'm just curious to see, how everything gets incorporated going forward. And I think it can only be for the best.
Yeah. Completely. Great thoughts, everybody. It's such an exciting time as we come out to the end of this. And I look forward to seeing where it all goes. And I look forward to seeing all three of you at the forefront of it all. And I can't thank you enough for being part of tomorrow's concert. So thank you, Blair and Heu and Dorothy. And once again, everybody, stream tomorrow beginning at 4 p.m. on CSI's website. It's available for 3 weeks if you can't watch it tomorrow. And email us at info@cincinnati-songinitiative.org. If you have any issues, we'll be happy to help. So you are not going to want to miss these three incredible artists, as well as Andrea performing with Jesus. So thank you all again very much. And we will play you all out with Jesus' video en español for our Spanish-speaking audience. Thank you very much, everybody. See you tomorrow. Bye, guys.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Saludos, mi nombre es Geo Botero y les quiero invitar el próximo 11 de abril al concierto Celebrating Latinx Voices de la compañía Cincinnati Song Initiative. Estaré cantando un repertorio latinoamericano acompañado por la guitarrista española Andrea González Caballero. El concierto estará disponible desde abril 11 hasta mayo 2 si obtienes el CSI Digital Single Pass, pero para ver el concierto ilimitadamente podrías obtener el CSI Digital All Access Pass. No te lo puedes perder, te esperamos. Este concierto va a ser virtual, lo que quiere decir es que lo puedes ver en cualquier momento, en tu casa, por la mañana, por la tarde, por la noche, en cualquier momento. Te esperamos, ven, no te lo pierdas. Chao.